I've been trying a new version of Flareon and was able to go on some massive win streaks in ranked. I'm now currently right around top 200 in the world. And before I show the deck list for all my deck list snatchers out there, if that's all you're here for, all I ask is that you subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you want to go the extra mile, maybe leave the video up in the background while you're putting the deck together, just to boost the watch time a little bit. But here's the deck. And I saw this deck do well at a tournament, and I have a philosophy in this game. The only difference between that deck and my version is that that version was playing Pokemon Communication. And one of my rules is that Pokemon Communication is one of the worst cards ever. It feels awful, like you never get what you want out of it. And instead, by throwing in the second Jolteon, it just has worked so much better for me. So the Jolteon, it's the old Genetic Apex, and you see right here. You flip 4 coins, it does 40 damage for each heads. Now, the really great thing about this Jolteon is that when you're playing 2 copies of it, you're pretty likely to get into it early. And what you can do is, another thing is we're playing Pichu. We're not playing Magby. And it's really all you need. We'll get more into that. But you can use the Pichu, put an energy on an Eevee, get into Jolteon right away, and now all of a sudden you're swinging for on average 80 damage every single turn. Sometimes you'll do 120. I've even done 160 damage and just melted something. But 3 heads will knock out a Suicune. So like there is the high roll potential. Like we're gambling here, and I really enjoy that. But the Jolteon attacking so quickly is a big problem for a lot of these decks, right? Just a Jolteon coming up, usually it's going to get 2 attacks off. That's kind of all it needs to do. And in the background, you just need an Eevee on the bench, attach a fire energy to it, and once that's evolved into a Flareon and that Jolteon goes down, you know you have the Flareon EX ready to go, and it can fire off back-to-back attacks and probably just win you the game. Another great thing about the Jolteon over the Flareon is that by doing that entry damage on the first thing that's in the active spot, you're not going to need to extend for that red or Eevee bag on the very, on your 3rd turn or whatever, and then fall victim to a Mars, and then they send up another EX, and it's like, dude, I can't find my 1 red that's left, or my 1 Eevee bag that's left. Like it's not here, it's not around. So you can avoid that completely by not needing to use a damage modifier on your first knockout. And then once you get Marsed, if you get Marsed, you have such a higher likelihood of drawing into it. So yeah, again, Pichu over Magby. And that's because really, like, you don't need the extra fire energy in play. It just works out that just getting that 1 extra energy onto an Eevee, you're still going to get into a Flareon at the same pace. Like, even if you start Eevee, attach the Eevee, retreat into a Pichu, that was a funny game right there. Ended very quickly. My opponent played some Pokeballs, and then, I don't know, just didn't bench anything but Pichu, and then I bit it. Well, he left before I could bite it. He had some shame. But you just don't need the Magby. Like, when I first saw the list, I was, dumbfounded. I could not believe what I was looking at. But yeah, it just flows very well. Now, focusing on some games, we got this Silvally game right here, and this one is absolutely crazy, honestly. When you're playing this deck, that's the number 1 thing you don't want to see, is this right here, right? Them getting that early knockout on the Pichu, because now you're scrambling. Like, you don't have an attacker set up, especially if you go first and they just get to do that going second. You're kind of scrambling. So I evolve into Flareon and I say, well, the only real way I can win this is if they miss a beat somewhere. I'm going to be able to knock out this active Pokemon this turn. So if he evolves into Silvally and he attaches a second energy, I know he's not attacking next turn, or at least not attacking for any meaningful amount of damage, especially when I have an Eevee bag in my hand to heal 20 more damage. And so, I'm just gonna, like, some people in this position would concede. I decided to play it out because, like, why wouldn't I? I mean, I'm fighting for my 10 points. I'm trying to get to top 100 here. And that's not going to happen by conceding early in some games. He sends up Zeraora like I expected. All I need is for this guy not to bench a second Zeraora, and I can repel and take out that type null. And there is the Zeraora. So this guy's hitting everything. Now here I take a long time to think. I'm thinking. Do I just concede? Do I leave? Do I attach the Flareon, retreat to Pichu? Like, what do I do here, man? What do I do? This guy's been hitting everything he needs. And ultimately I decide that, you know what, dude? it's already such low odds that I would have won this game just off that first turn. I'm going to just assume that my opponent does not have it. All right, that's all I can do here is hope that he does not have it. There's really not much more for me to do, because if I retreat into Pichu, like, where am I going? I mean, what sequence of turns will end this match in a victory for me? This is kind of all I have to do, is go Flareon, Fire Spin, use that EV bag, leave myself at 50 HP, and now I have to hope, because I've used both EV bags in this game, that he either does not have Silvally or does not hit a heads on quick blow. He uses second research. I'm so scared, because at this point in the game, this guy's not played a Gladion, and he's been through both type null and a Silvally. It seems very high odds. And then I see the attach to Zeraora, and now I know, ooh, ooh. And he thought he put the Rocky Helmet on the type null, but he did not have a second Rocky Helmet, so I can just go Repel and knock out that Zeraora for game with 10 HP. Make sure you subscribe. Look it, if you subscribe, maybe your thing will pop up in video. Hold on, I gotta show you guys this. Look at this, look at this, look at this. You guys might show up on the video. Shout out Perry Lau, thank you for the subscription. All right, back into it. You never know, dude. You could come up in a video like Perry. Shout out Perry. Everyone in the comments, let Perry know how much we appreciate him doing that live on camera. That takes bravery, dude. That takes bravery. So going over the Jolteon a little bit more, because this deck, like, why are we playing this deck? You know, what are the benefits of it? Well, with the Jolteon, we have a much better time into Suicune, because again, this deck felt very good when I first started playing it. I thought it was very good into Suicune, because the Suicune players didn't really know what they were doing, to be honest, against it. So I was getting a ton of free points off of Suicune players. Eventually, they figured it out. It is what it is. This is another absolute, make sure you're paying attention to this game. This game is an absolute crazy one. But with this Jolteon and just the quick aggression of the Jolteon and not having to use the damage modifiers early, because Suicune is the biggest one, right? They will throw a giant cape on the active Suicune, and then they will, after you've used your red EV bag to get that knockout, they'll Mars you, and then it's like such low odds that you find the other damage modifier after, and you just kind of lose from there. But with the Jolteon being quick aggression and not needing to use those damage modifiers, it feels a lot better. Like, Jolteon, again, on average is doing 80 damage. It can kind of two-shot, and right there I use the red because I think, all right, Alolan Exeggutor, if I use red, I might just win the game right here. If I just flip 3 heads, I'll just win the game. I'll knock out the Leafeon. That's something you can do as well. Like, there are times where you just want to, because you're so free to use these damage modifiers now, you can take the gamble and you can use the red early. So anyways, Jolteon makes this Suicune matchup a little bit better for you, for sure. Dark Tina is still, like, just a pretty good matchup for you. That matchup really hasn't changed. If you just get an aggressive Flareon EX online, it's sort of hard for them to do much about it. You know, that deck isn't really playing Giant Cape anymore. Sometimes they are, but they're down to 1 Cape. They might not even find it in time. And the Flareon can kind of just run them over. Or you can do the Jolteon method and go for double 2 pin missile attacks in a row while you're building up a bench Flareon. And then after Jolteon gets knocked out, Flareon takes the last knockout and you win. So another good one. Another one that's like slightly improved, but this is still a really bad matchup. But it's nice because the deck is everywhere. Is Guzlord. The Guzlord strategy has just never worked for this deck, right? They have 170 HP. It's so rare for you to get the red double EV bag play to take a one-hit knockout on them. And the baby Flareon from Genetic Apex that does 110 for 3 energy and discards 1 energy from itself was so inefficient into Guzlord because it can't charge itself up. You discard an energy. If they use Grindcore plus Will or Grindcore and just hit the heads, you end up losing, or the Flareon's now useless, right? It hit for 110, but now it's useless. And that's going to give them time to just kind of set up, maybe Grindcore some energy off some more, and you're like not able to move that Flareon. It's really annoying. And so, all right, you see this, dude? My whole plan this game, I know I'm getting sidetracked, but my whole plan this game was I'm going to need this Exeggutor to miss at some point. And we're now at the point where Exeggutor did not miss when I wanted him to. I was trying to set up Jolteon to get some chip damage in. Like, if Pichu could live, then I'd go into Jolteon, he'd get some chip damage. I'm ready to concede. I'm ready to leave, dude, because, like, he has to have the will. He has to. Oh, my God, he doesn't have the will. Oh, my God, it's a Tails. I can do this. I can win this. Like, at this point, it's just kind of over, but sometimes you got to take that gamble, right? And it's good. It's good. Like I knew I could either send up Flareon there and hope that there was no heads, or I could hope that there was no heads and maybe lengthen the game in my favor, right? Because the more coin flips I'm making this Executor do, the better. Whether I'm getting the will out of the way early, or he's just not drawing into the will. So making Executor, I mean, the deck sucks, but making Executor do more coin flips is always good. Anyways, Guzlord, back to Guzlord. I'm so scatterbrained, I'm sorry. The Jolteon is a much better attacker into the Guzlord because you can Pichu to the Jolteon. You're kind of okay with just letting the Pichu get knocked out, honestly, because your prize trade is just going to go, unless things are going really, really well for you and you can set up 2 Flareon, but even 2 Flareon isn't really a good attacker because of Grindcore again. So you want to use Pichu, get that Jolteon set up, go in with Jolteon, preferably put a 3rd energy on the Jolteon. If you can, because they're just gonna Grindcore right after that. You know, it's a slow deck. It's a pretty slow deck, so you can usually get away with putting a 3rd energy on the Jolteon, no problem. Like, you'll have 1 lightning, 2 fire, and then you just want to start using Pin Missile. And while you're doing that, set up the Flareon in the back. And then what you really look to do is Jolteon plus Flareon, knock out the first Guzlord. You then hope that you are able to just go Repel, knock out the Celesteela on the bench. It's going to be very rare that a Guzlord player does not bench Celesteela, because they know, like, oh, if I get hit with Repel right here and I don't have Celesteela in play, then this Guzlord is going to be stuck for a turn. It's just not going to be good for me. So Guzlord players will almost always bench both of them. Now in this game, right, I'm looking for Pichu, because my line here against Dragonite is I need to go Jolteon, and then I need to go Flareon, because I'm probably not going to get 2 Flareon set up. It's really hard to do. I'm going to hope that I can just bite, get that first point I need, and then Repel. Maybe you just knock out the Dratini, or maybe I'll swing into a Dragonite. But I don't find the Pichu. So now I'm in like a pretty poor spot. And all I can really hope to do is hope that my opponent misses a Lyra at some point. Like, that's kind of it. That's all we got, is hope that my opponent misses a Lyra, because there's no Pichu in play, so there's no Jolteon getting set up. So I have to change my game plan. And now I see that I get 2nd Flareon, so I'm like, all right, yeah, it's just going to be hope my opponent misses Lyra. I will attach, get this Flareon set up. I'll evolve into that Flareon. There's no energy in the discard pile, so I can't accelerate to it. And I'll Repel up this Dragonite. And then my opponent concedes. I don't know if he thought I had another fire energy, or if his hand was just that bad. But yeah, Guzlord gets improved. And then, like, the rest of the meta, I mean, it's all pretty standard. So I don't think Guzlord is a good matchup. I think it's still pretty bad, but it's slightly improved. Suicune is slightly improved, and Darkteen is just as good as always. And then the Jolteon also, because I'm running into a ton of Oricoro stuff, like a lot of Oricoro decks. The deck has handled Oricoro fine. Like, Pin Missile, again, on average, it's going to do 80. You can also use Eevee Bag on the Jolteon to live another hit from the Oricoro. And one of my favorite things to do with Jolteon against these lightning decks is when I see a Zeraora, and you'll see me do it in this game, but when I see a Zeraora and I'm attacking with Jolteon, I just want to use an Eevee Bag and say, listen, I'm supposed to get 2 heads here. It's not quite enough, but with the Eevee Bag, that puts me over 90. And if I overswing, that's fine, but if I just hit 2 heads, then I am extremely happy. Now, my game plan here was, all right, it looks like I'm going to try to go aggressive Flareon, and that's just good enough, right? Because my opponent doesn't really have much set up. If I can just get an aggressive Flareon with this, I'll be fine, right? That's all I really need. And I get red carded, and I find Jolteon, and then I don't end up getting the Flareon. So now I'm like, okay, dude, how do I win this game? Because, you know, I'm not going to have another Pokemon in play after this. So I go Repel before I evolve into Flareon. So he has to consider, right? He has to think, like, am I really going to send out my Pikachu EX right now, or am I going to send out my Zeraora? He sends up the Zeraora. Now, I'm going to do what I just said. I'm going to use the Eevee bag because I'm really, you know, not guaranteed to, but there's a pretty good chance that I hit 2 heads here. And I go for Pin Missile. No. Yes. 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 Overkill. But that's fine. That's fine. Now all my opponent has is Pikachu EX in play. And he can do 90 damage, but he's going to need 2 bench Pokemon to do so. I got the second Eevee on the bench, which means if this Jolteon could just hold on for one more turn, even if he can't hold on for one more turn, there's still a chance, but he does. He does. He has no more lightning Pokemon. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Now there's really not much more work to do. I can bench this Eevee. We don't see a Flareon yet, so that's scary, for sure. But we can attach to the bench Eevee and just go for another Pin Missile. We get 2 heads there. There we go. See? Average. A third one would have just won me the game because Pikachu EX is so squishy. But it's fine. It's fine. We ended up doing okay there. As long as it isn't 0. And Jolteon will hit for 0. Jolteon just will hit for 0 heads. It's what he does. You know, sometimes you get 4, sometimes you get 0. It just kind of is what it is. So he gets the knockout on my Jolteon. Very, very sad because I don't have a hand. Oh, no, sorry. I do have a hand. I forgot. See, I even forget while I'm trying to tell you guys not to forget. Your Eevee EX has an attack, and you can boost its damage with red, and it hits for 50, and I bite the Pikachu, and I win the game, just like that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this new style of just kind of, you know, playing some games and talking over it. I quite enjoy it. I think I like it more than live commentary. You get, you know, it's like Blitzkrieg, bro. You get way more going on. We got the games playing quickly. We got me going over matchups and then talking about the games. I like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, because if you want to see like live gameplay, I Twitch stream or YouTube stream, both of them. You can find me on both platforms under TillyTCG. If you want to see live gameplay. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming out. Make sure you like the video on your way out. All right, I'll see you on the next one.